Hi, this is the introduction to the S.A.T. Intro. Let me write this. Intro to the S.A.T. So my name is Jane, and I took the S.A.T. back in 2006 and 2007 when I was 16 and 17. And in 2008 I went to college, and I graduated from college in 2012. Okay, and now I'm working, and I'm making this video. So a little bit about the S.A.T. So I obviously took the S.A.T. I took it twice, and the history of the S.A.T. it starts in. Hold on, let me get this brush. S.A.T. started back in 1921, where students from high school would take the test and get into college with the test scores. Okay, so currently the S.A.T. Well, let's look at the S.A.T. What does S.A.T. stand for? Well, before, the S.A.T. stood for the Scholastic. I see. So, sorry, let me just fix the I a little bit. Scholastic Achievement Test. And they said that the S.A.T. was going to measure how a high school student is going to do in college. So depending on your score, it's going to tell you how well you're going to succeed in college. That was the Scholastic Achievement Test. It was also called the Scholastic Aptitude Test before, but they changed the name to this. And then they changed it again. Why did they change it again? Now the S.A.T. just is the S.A.T. There's no acronym. It doesn't stand for anything. Well, they changed it because they used to think that how well you did on the test is going to determine how well you're going to do in college. But now they realize there's no correlation. So no correlation between your S.A.T. score and how well you're going to do in college. Let's say you did really poorly in college. Really poorly on your S.A.T. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do really poorly in your college. Okay, so let me remove this for a bit. Get my brushes. Okay, cool. So, the S.A.T., it costs $51 to take, and it's $81 if you take it internationally outside the United States. Okay, it's offered 7 times a year. Sorry for my messy handwriting. It's offered 7 times a year in October, November, December, 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe 5. Yeah, it's not offered in June, July, August, or September. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I'm not sure if they offered in May. I think what they do is they alternate between May and the 4th month, March. May and March, they alternate. So you can take it either May in 1 year or either in March in 1 year. And obviously you can take the S.A.T. as many times as you like, but it's recommended that it's great if you take it once and get a really good score, but most people take it twice. Okay, 2 check marks. So, alright, the S.A.T. Okay, let me get rid of this for a little bit. Cool. I want to say something a little bit more about how to register for the S.A.T. This is the College Board logo. College Board is the company that makes the S.A.T. S.A.T. So if you go to collegeboard.org, you can sign up for the S.A.T. I think you can sign up a week ahead of the test date, but I'm not sure. You can sign up in all 50 states, obviously, and in some countries internationally. Right. So that's good. College Board. So the company that makes the S.A.T., it's the big company is called the ETS, which stands for Educational Testing Service, and College Board is a part of the ETS. The ETS also makes like tests like the S.A.T, which is the secondary school entrance exam, admissions test, and the GRE, which is the graduate school exam, the S.A.T, which is the lawyer's exam, the law school exam, and GMAT, which is the business school exam. These are graduate school. But you don't need to really worry about that. So yeah, basically the ETS, they make a lot of tests in America. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. Actually, let's scroll down a little bit. So I wanted to say something about the ACT as well. So the ACT is another test you can take. Let me try to get rid of this. Sorry. That's an alternative to the S.A.T. You can take the ACT and you can take the S.A.T. So why would you take the S.A.T. instead of the ACT? Well, you don't have to. You can take whichever one. Let me show you a little map. Okay. So this, if we blow it up, we can see that a lot of Midwestern states prefer to take ACT tests. And a lot of the coast states, plus Alaska and Hawaii, tend to take S.A.T. Now, what is really the difference between ACT and S.A.T? Well, ACT is less vocab. So less vocab is tested on the ACT. There's also science tested on the ACT. In generally harder math. Harder math. Okay. So you can look up ACT if you would like, if you want to. I actually recommend that you take an ACT test and take an S.A.T. test and see which one you do better on. Yeah, so that can, because you can take either one, and colleges in the U.S. will accept either one. Okay, so actually let me go down. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about scoring. So let me get this. So the scoring on the S.A.T. Okay, well there's 3 sections on the S.A.T. the reading, writing, and math. Okay, the lowest you can get in writing is a 200, and the highest score you can get if you get like a perfect score is 800. Writing is the same, 200 to 800. Math is also the same, 200 to 800. And total score is like if you add up the score. So the lowest score you can get, theoretically, if you just write your name down and not fill in anything, is 200 plus 200 plus 200, 600 total score. And if you get a perfect score, it's 800 plus 800 plus 800. That would be 2400. Okay. So the S.A.T., lowest you can get on the S.A.T. is 600, and the highest you can get is a 2400. And let me explain what these scores mean. Okay. Let's scroll down a little bit. Alright, so this is the official score from 2006. It's still relevant today. Okay, so let's say you get a 500 on reading, you get a 500 on writing, you get a 500 on math. Okay, cool. You add them all up, and the total score is 1500. So you go down and look at score 15. Here's 1500, and it says percentile right here. So you go to 1500 and look at this. This is 48 percentile. What does this mean? Well, it just means that if like 100 people took it, and in comparison to the 100 people, you did better than 48 of them, and you did worse than well, you're number 49, so you did worse than 51. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's what a percentile means. So we can just take a look at this a little bit more. So if you get a 1700 on the S.A.T, that means you got a 72 percentile. That means out of 100 people, you did better than 72% of the people. If you got a 1200, that means you got better than 15% of people. So 100 people in line, you are you did better than 15 of them. Okay. So to understand the scores a little bit more, sorry, this video is running really long. Let me cut this off. Okay, I'm cutting this off. Let me I'm cutting it off. So, okay. One more thing about the scores. I want to talk a little bit more about the score distribution. Alright, so this little curve thing, this is called the normal distribution. And the normal distribution, according to statistics, tells you how the scores are distributed. So score, normal distribution. I mean, we already looked at this little chart thing here, but I just want to get a visual sense of what the score is. Okay, let's say you get a 1500. 1500 is 50th percentile. That means you did better than 50% of the people. As you can see in this little curve, I didn't draw it perfectly. It's supposed to look like more like a perfect bell shape. I think if you guys took statistics, you probably know this already. Okay, that's a little better. So 50th percentile. You got a 1500 on your S.A.T. And that means 50th percentile. That means you did better than 50% of the people. This shaded area, this area, means how many people did who scored lower than you, who scored lower. Right, that makes sense, right? Because, you know, if there's 100 people, this is the area. The area of the whole, this little curve, the whole thing is, let's say, 100 people. And 50 people would mean that it's half of this area. Okay. So, 1500 is a 50th percentile. That's pretty good. Now, let's see. Let's get to 1600. Let's say you get a 1600. Okay, well, 1600 is right here. And the people who scored lower would be in this whole shaded area, okay? To the left of you, okay? And now if you see this 1600, we go down, you get a 1600. That is the 61st percentile. That means 1600, you did better than 61%. Of if there was 100 kids, you would be better than 61 of them. Okay, that kind of makes sense, right? All right, so if we look at and then 1700 would be like here, 72 percentile. Okay, so we can see that 1500, 1600, 1700. As you move up, or if you move down, 1400 and 1300, we see that, okay, if you are, let's say there's 100 people taking a test, you did better than 50% of them, so you're number 50 in line, right? Okay, and if you want to go up if you go up to 1600, now you're the 61st person in line. Your score went up plus, let me change the color. Your score went up 100 points, but you only moved up 11 spaces. And then over here, 1600 to 700, well, your score went up 100, but you only moved up, well, this is still 11 places. And, oh, right. But if you get higher and higher, it's a little bit different. So 1800, you move up, and you only move up 9 places. If you get to the really high numbers, although your score might improve 100 points, you only move up, let's say 5, or like 2 more spaces in line, right? Like in line as in there's 100 people in line, and you're right here. If you make 100 points, you leap here. If you make 100 points, you leap a little bit here. You make 100 points, you leap here, and you make 100 points. I mean, if you get a 2400, you'll obviously be the first person in line. But to go from the middle, or the bottom, actually, bottom to the top, to the middle, it gets increasingly easier, but if you want to get to 2400, it's increasingly harder and harder. Does that make sense? Okay. It's a little bit choppy. Alright, so I'm running out of time. I will see you in the next video for S.A.T.